Hi everyone, we're here doing a Mass Save energy assessment with the mayor of East Hampton, Nicole LaChapelle. Nicole?
Thank you so much for coming out this morning. I'm excited to hear what can happen in my house to make it a little more energy efficient, but also safer, especially for myself and my two dogs, Pig and Magnolia, who the viewers have met in the past. So Dave, where do we start?
Well, before we get started, we have to make sure that the house is safe enough for us to pursue any future work. So one of the things that we do is we go down and we test all of the combustion appliances. So if they have a gas appliance, we will test that, or if they have a gas furnace or boiler or oil, in fact, we will test all of those things. So when we test the systems, we want to make sure that there's no carbon monoxide leakage and that it's actually drafting properly. And what I mean by that is it's actually pulling the air from the house and through the exhaust as opposed to exhausting it back into the house. So those are huge safety concerns. If we make the house tighter, then those will be a bigger issue. So that's why we have to test them. And part of the process is, once we go through the house, we check to make sure if there's any air sealing that needs to be done. And if there is, of course, we will seal up weather stripping around the doors, or air sealing in the attic, wire penetrations, pipe penetrations. And as I said before, the more air sealing we do, the tighter the house becomes, which is why safety is a big concern.
So Dave, let me just one question before we start. When you're talking about checking the combustion appliances and mechanisms in the house and the exhaust issue, is that something I would know?
Not necessarily. If you had a gas furnace,
yeah,
the gas is designed so that you can smell the gas. They actually put an additive in there. However, if it's a CO leak, that's not something you're necessarily going to smell or know about.
So we're running the carbon monoxide test, this meter. Things are running just fine. You can hear that the furnace is on and it passes with flying colors, so there's no issue for carbon monoxide you would have as concern as a homeowner. This now will test our draft, and again we want to make sure we get negative readings because it's going to be drawing out the side when this is running.
Okay.
And already it's in the negative, so we're in great shape. Draft gets better as it runs. That tells us that when everything goes on in the house, it's getting drawn out.
Okay.
Which is what we want. So we've got this little smoke machine to give you a visual of what we're talking about. You can see it coming out of the end of this. It's being drawn directly in and out. So it tells you, in fact, that it's what we wanted. The negative draft. We pull this, so it's going right up into the chimney.
So instead of air exhaust coming into the house,
correct,
it's now being sucked out of the house.
Exactly right. The right direction.
So everything's working properly.
Very good.
Great. So while we're in the basement, I'm looking at because it's an older basement, so traditionally you're going to find lots of areas where you can air seal. And right away you can see that this door is having issues. So we're probably either going to want to replace this door or put some 2-inch R-board on the outside of it with some weather stripping to stop those air leaks. And also over here you can see kind of quickly where the house sits on the foundation, there are fairly sizable gaps, and these gaps are letting in a lot of cold air. I can actually feel the cold air coming through where my finger is right now, and then also around all of these windows. So this house is actually ideal for air sealing. It's going to save a lot of energy. It's going to be like closing open windows by the time we're done. All right, so here's what I see when I come up in the attic. Right around the chimney here, this is going all the way down into the basement. And so one of the concerns is that it's actually open from the basement, where cold air can actually go down from here in the wintertime through to the basement, and then vice versa in the summertime. And it's creating what's called a stack effect. So we're going to air seal all around that chimney. And here's what you see here. Right now we've got a floored attic, and there is some insulation in there, but we can do a little bit of a better job, and we blow cellulose on top of it, and we actually do something that's called dense packing, which actually stops the airflow. So what we're seeing here is just stacked fiberglass insulation, and some of the issues that we have with fiberglass insulation is it doesn't stop airflow very well. So what we'll do is we'll actually pull up the fiberglass. In any areas that we see that need to be air sealed, whether they're pipe penetrations or wire penetrations, we'll do that. We'll put the fiberglass back down, and then we'll blow a layer of cellulose over it. And cellulose is very dense, and it does a very good job at stopping airflow. So one of the other great things that the Mass Save program offers, it allows us to give people new LED bulbs, which are super efficient and they're instant on.
All right.
This is a power strip that they also give you, and it costs nothing. And the great thing about this power strip is what you do is you usually use it for either a computer area or somewhere you might set up your TV. And what you do is you plug it into a control, maybe your TV or your computer, and anything else that you plug into these green outlets will automatically turn off when you turn off the control. So if you turn your TV off, everything else you have plugged in, whether it's a VHS or a DVD player, will automatically turn off, and that'll save you that little bit extra energy.
So we're at another house. We're at Marin's house today. A small ranch with a little different design for his heating system. Yesterday we talked about it happened to be an oil-based heat system. This is natural gas. This, as you can see from the PVC, it's direct vented out. So there's really no potential hazard for CO issue, which is what we normally test for. I will still test from outside to make sure, but the potential in the basement's not going to be there. It's direct water heater. So again, yesterday's description of a potential problem or a draft issue we need to make sure to care for, not evident here, so it's not been an issue. So the good news is we're not going to have the same problems. So yesterday we talked about basements and the need for air sealing different parts of the house. Marin's house, he had an energy audit done about 3 years ago and had some work done. So as you can see in the joist of the basement, got the foam spray air sealing in place, and then we put the insulation batting right over. That's a normal process. Yesterday's home didn't have the work done yet. This is ideal for what you want to have done to create that sense of energy efficiency. So one of the more important parts of the house are the doors for weather stripping and sweeps, because everybody understands when you've got that cold air coming in the middle of winter out of your front door. So this, as we can see along this whole seal, is got weather stripping that's in great shape. You want to make sure there's no gouges missing, big pieces. I know people have animals and you'll see it shredded. And this is a sweep down below, which you pop these off and you can raise and lower it as you need to seal the door better. But those are very important items to be done and covered by all energy audits. So we're at house number 3, Stephen's house, and it's a newer one, 2007. So a lot of things have been done right. Since then, up here, as you see, there's insulation in the rim joist, which is great. A lot of people are going to have that. The key that they're missing, though, is the air sealing portion, the foam spray, which we're going to put along the whole foundation. Likewise, that's what we do in the attic. And again, we want to air seal up there as well. The good news for him with this house in 2007 is the exterior walls are going to be terrific. They won't need to be addressed as opposed to the other houses we saw because of their age.